going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Alpha Auto Adventures video. Today I'm going to be doing a fun little comparison between the Toyota and the Alfa in terms of oil changes and just the simplicity and some of the designs between Japanese and Italian engineering. Let's see what we find out. Alright, so apparently, this vehicle is high enough off the ground that you don't need to jack it up to get to the oil filter and the drain plug. However, I got my race ramps, just got them in, and I'm going to find any excuse to set them up and give me a little bit more leverage and maybe some better camera angles to perform this job. So let's set that up, get her up on the race ramps, and get going. Alright, she's up on the race ramps. Probably could have left myself a little bit more room here, but that's fine. I can really get under there, no problem. Okay, so let's get to the oil change. Alright, so here are some of the tools I'm going to be using. Got my wrench, 14mm socket, extender. Here's the special tool to remove the oil filter housing. Made in the USA. Got it on Amazon though. I'll leave a link to this in the description. Toyota filter, also leave a link for that. And then I went ahead and got a different bolt for the oil pan with a magnetic end, just for a little extra bit of infinity. And then I got some lights here. Even though the garage is well lit, once you get underneath, that might change. So let's go ahead. Got the hood open. Oh, got the hood open. Just enough room there. Mint. Alright, so we got the V6 here, 3.5 liter. Here's the oil cap. So 0W20 on the cap. Sorry, there it is. Alright guys, time to get underneath. Safety first. Glasses, gloves. I know real mechanics wouldn't do that. I don't know, that's what I've been told. But hey, I'm just a regular Joe Schmo doing his oil change in his garage. I went with the Valvoline 0W20 full synthetic, extra protection, or whatever it's called, extended protection. This car takes 5.8 quarts. I have 6. I got the 5 big one and then 1 little one. Also important, I need something to catch the oil in, so I picked one of these up. Also made in the USA. I'll leave a link in the description to all this stuff I'm using. And yeah, let's get after it. Plug the oil filter. So I'm gonna undo this, let it all drain out. I'm gonna undo the little screw here that gives you the drain, access to the drain for the oil filter. And then this is gonna come off, drain that out some more, reverse the process, replace some parts, and should be pretty simple. Let's get it done. Coming out pretty quick, but it's getting in there. Make sure this is closed, obviously. So as that's finishing up, I'm going to undo the oil filter drain and then use this little tool that comes with the oil filter to drain any remaining oil that's in the housing for the oil filter. So I'm going to move this over. It should be able to catch both what's remaining in the oil pan and from the oil filter. So let's do that right now. Alright, so lefty loosey, righty tighty. I'm going to use this, just the extender, to get in there and just get it loose a little bit. So let's get it in there. There you go. Draining out, so I'm just gonna pull this out. Yes, I did change my gloves. I figured disposable would probably be a little better. Okay, so you pull it out, and it does take the O-ring or the gasket, whatever, out, and that's going to be replaced with a new one that comes with the filter, so that's all good. And I'm pretty sure every time you get a filter, you get a new one of these, so don't worry about keeping that. I'm just going to pop it in there for now. So luckily I had this piece from my jack that I took off and gave me that extra bit of leverage needed. So all good. Alright, so filter's out. I'm gonna just drain out anything else that's in there. And this is the filter from Toyota. Okay, so we gotta remove this little gasket here. No tool really needed. There's an opening right here, right? So you can kind of get at it without having to pick. Alright, so I got a hold of it and it comes right off. Pop that in. Doesn't matter which side. Okay, kind of clips in. Lube it up. New one's in. Again, lube this one up. Plug. Got the little oil fingering. Boom. Some clean oil around it. And we're going to just hand tighten it for now, and then we'll talk about all the specifications later. So we're going to fill this. Alright, so let's go back under there and get this back in, and also obviously close up the oil pan. Time to torque this thing back up. On the box for the oil filter, it gives you the torque for the drain plug. However, I don't see the torque for the housing. I did find some online resources on my phone, and it looks like, so we got 9.5 or so here, and that does match up with what it says here on the phone. So I'm going to assume that the others are accurate as well. For the cap assembly, it's 18 foot-pounds, and for the drain plug we got 30 foot-pounds. So let's do it up and hopefully that works. Alright, so I gotta run out to the store real quick. I got my torque wrench, but this one's a little too big, so I need to get a adapter to allow the socket to come on appropriately and me to be able to actually use the damn torque wrench. Little poor planning on my part, but luckily the store is only 3 miles away. Let's go. Alright, I got the attachment ready to go. I can throw on that 14mm, tighten it up to spec, and fill her up. Don't have a funnel. I'm going to see if the big container has one of those built-in kind of nozzles. If not, I'm just going to be careful. I was also thinking I could fill, empty this out in there and then cut this bottom open and make a funnel out of it, but I'm not going to put time into that. So turn the engine on, let it run for a minute or two, and then recheck the oil level and then add if I need to. I think I probably will. Hopefully I didn't spill too much. 5.8. There we go. So looks okay, and looks okay here. So let's get her off the ramp and remeasure the oil pan and see what we got. Alright, so that's a wrap for the Toyota. I'm going to move on to the Alfa on a different day, maybe tomorrow, but it's all going to be one video. So let's see the difference. Japanese, Italian. What could be different? They say. What could be different? I don't know. Just an oil change, right? Let's find out. Alright, so it's time to jump into the oil change for the Stelvio quadrifoglio. Okay, so we have the engine cover off and we have the strut bar off. So now we got to lift this up. I already kind of have some of this engine bay, I don't know, moved from previous services. I just never put it back because it was just in the way. And there are some wires back here that you want to make sure are not still attached. And then this is really going to lift up pretty easily, but there are some wires, some clips on either end. So these guys I'm going to remove on both sides just so that this has a little bit more flexibility when you lift it up. I don't know if that's required, but that's the way we've been doing it. So I'm going to keep doing it. They come off, take your time, and they clip right back in. So pretty easy there. Alright, so I removed these little adapters for the air intakes. They just kind of push in, squeeze in together. Alright, pretty easy. And now this is pretty loose. That'll just kind of pop off. That is on both sides. So I think this will just lift up. Yep. You can see it sits in here and sits in there. I think we may have, oh no, the rubber's still right up top. And you just want to make sure that it gets pushed in to these holes right there. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside and we'll keep going. There we go. So I popped it up one side here. I'm going to go on the other side. Let's do the same thing. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so that is popped loose. Now the tricky part is to get it up kind of over this piece. You could remove this. It does come off. But I've been just kind of lifting at it, and you can see how it's a little bit kind of chewed up here, but that's a result of that. So if you want to take the time to remove this, you definitely can. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see how. I've never even done it, but it might be pretty easy. There's clips right here. Actually, I might do that just so that it lifts up a little easier right here. So I'm going to take 2 clips off, and then this whole thing might come up a bit easier. So let me try that. Okay, so I did take out 4 of these little clips on each, or 2 on each end. So now this is a lot more flexible, and I think I should be able to get this up a lot easier without actually removing this whole piece. So let's get it done. Oh. Kind of have it resting on the back of that, and again, so these little rubber things sit right into that, and there's one on each end, and now you can see the filter. Okay, so it's time to get underneath the car and drain the oil, and then everything else is back up top. So let's go. Alright, so under the car, at least things are pretty accessible, which is nice. If you can see, let's see, where's my finger? There it is. So there is the drain plug. It is a 13 millimeter. So I'm going to set up my catch pan and we're going to let this drain out. So let's go. So I got the drain plug out, and it's a pretty cool design. It has these like holes in it. I don't know if you can see that, and it drains through those holes, so the oil stream kind of disperses. So if you're doing it at home and have a small oil pan to catch pan, don't bring it out to this point because it will kind of splatter on you. I knew that, so I made sure to just like keep it open a little bit, let it drain before it got to that point. So that's a little tip, little secret, if you will. And then once the oil depleted, then I removed it, and now it's draining completely. And I made sure to not remove the washer too soon because we have a new one that comes in the kit. All right, comes with the oil filter here. I'll share the part number. Boom. Okay, I get all this from alfisimo.com. Not a sponsored video, but Jason over there, customer service, has been great, and he's got all the authentic parts. You can see the box is a Mopar genuine part. Not everything is OEM, but this oil change kit and filter, obviously they are. All right, so for this washer for the oil plug, it's almost impossible to see. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but this edge is slightly raised compared to the bottom. The rubber is flat, so that raised part goes towards the oil pan. So it was up like so, right? Now I will say the one in this kit that I just got is slightly different, and it's actually raised, sorry, it's raised on both ends, and I think you can kind of see that. So it's the same diameter on the outside. The inside is a little smaller, but now you do have the double rubber. So I'm hoping that is a upgrade, something that is on the newer QVs. Hopefully I don't have an oil leak. We'll find out. So let's see. All right, all the oil underneath is drained out, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in and seal it nice and tight. All right, let's go. Here's the old filter. Here's the new filter. But anyway, so this unscrews, this whole thing comes out, and you just replace it as is. I'm gonna put some oil, some fresh oil around all the rubber here. 1, 2, 3. Push that in. We're gonna tighten that back in, and we'll be good to go. And so that's a wrap for this video. If you were paying attention, you can tell that the duration between the Toyota oil change and the Alfa oil change was a little longer than I wanted it to be, as the wrap is a bit different on this than it was in the last frame of the Toyota video. But anyways, you probably already knew the Alfa was going to be a lot more complicated than the Toyota, but at the end of the day, nothing too crazy, as it was just an oil change. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.